Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of your Westland City Council to order. We will begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Emily Bauman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bauman, for leading us in the pledge. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bauman. Present. Councilwoman Martin. Present. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Here.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Here.
Councilman Sullivan.
Here.
Pro Tem Maxwell.
Here.
Council President McDermott.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Okay, we have no special announcements or presentations for this evening's meeting, so we will now move on to questions or input on the agenda from the public. This section will allow members of the public at the beginning of the meeting to address the council regarding items that are on tonight's business agenda. Questions asked may be responded to during the agenda item following a motion in support from your city council. Is there anyone on my left? Yes, Ms. Wilson.
Well, hello.
Good evening.
Item 8 on new business. What is home ARP public service that you're taking $30,000 from and putting in the same $30,000 into home ARP administration? And what is the administration? That's it.
Great, we can get you an answer for that one. Anyone on my right wishing to speak on the new business, on the business agenda? Anyone on my left? Mr. Warren.
Under the consent calendar, item B, I'm looking forward to the approval of this over for the 5-year period. And one of the reasons why I'm looking for approval, because from what Wade Trim says in here, there'll be a lot more public discussion on where HUD funds are allocated to. It brings the public into a greater focus of what they need in the public sphere. Okay, also under new business, item 5, 6, and 7. I'm in agreement with the confirmation of these 3 individuals, Deanna Adams Stachow, Deborah Folks, and Ruby Richards for the Planning Commission. I've been watching them over a period of time, and it seems like they pretty much know their business. And so that's all the comments I have.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Anyone on my right? Anyone on my left? All right, seeing and hearing none, we will close comments on the agenda and move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Rakowski, supported by Councilwoman Sampe. Are there any changes to the consent calendar? Any changes to the consent calendar? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items: minutes of study session held January 20th, 2026, professional services agreement with Wade Trim regarding the 2026 to 2035 year consolidated plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program, golf course maintenance service contract, rate adjustment with Links at Gateway LLC, authorizes the mayor and clerk to sign a contract approved by the city attorney and executed by the vendor. Term shall be for a period of 1 year in the amount of $178,500. Introduction of amendments to Chapter 46-2 of the City Code of Ordinances to adjusted rates at city's golf course and arena. Introduction of administrative fee schedule amendments to include a non-resident rate of $60 for a Westland Rotary Canine Corral Dog Park Pass. Adoption of budget amendments through December 31, 2025 for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. These were introduced on January 20th, 2026. And the last item on the consent calendar is resolution acknowledging early voting for all Westland voting precincts for all statewide and federal elections to be conducted within Westland City Hall during the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Moving to payment of voucher.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Martin, supported by Councilwoman Rakowski. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business item number 1, approval of minutes of regular meeting held January 20th, 2026.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Martin, supported by Councilwoman Sampe. Is there any discussion from the maker?
No.
Any discussion from the supporter?
No, it has to go to roll call.
Yep. Any other discussion from the council before we go to roll call? Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Baumann.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
Abstain due to absence.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan.
Yes.
Pro Tem Maxwell.
Yes.
Council President McDermott.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, item number 2, confirmation of reappointment of Ralph Cabito to the Downtown Development Authority for a 4-year term to expire February 19th, 2030.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
There is a motion by Councilwoman Martin, supported by Councilwoman Baumann. Mayor?
I don't have anything further. I just want to thank Ralph for continuing to serve on this board and for your service to the city of Westland. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything from the maker?
No.
Anything from the supporter? Any other discussion from the council? I, too, would just like to echo the mayor's sentiments. Ralph, you've done so much in this city. You and your wife both wear so many hats around here, from DJing events to giving your time on the Downtown Development Authority and giving back to the business community, which you are a part of here in Westland. So we thank you for your tireless work and your advocacy for the city and your continued involvement here for a 4-year term on the DDA. So thank you very much. We very much appreciate it. And is there any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing none, motion passes. Please stand and be recognized.
New business, item number 3, confirmation of reappointment of Robert Varsakian to the Local Development Finance Authority for a 4-year term to expire February 8th, 2030.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Sullivan, supported by Councilwoman Rakowski. Mayor, did you have anything you wanted to?
Just want to thank Robert for continuing to serve on the LDFA. Appreciate your service to the city of Westland, and thank you, City Council, for supporting his reappointment.
Okay, wonderful. Anything from the maker?
No, actually, I served on this board I had served on this board for a few years, and Robert's been chairing it for a number of years and does a great job, and look forward to his continued leadership for the city.
All right, anything from the supporter? Okay, anything else from the council? Any other discussion? I too would just, echo the sentiment. We appreciate Robert stepping up, and as with all residents serving on a board or commission, really probably one of the more thankless boards when you get some of the angry folks with, issues and stuff. So, it's not one of the Parks and Rec boards or the Planning Commission where you get all the limelight and the spotlight. So you deal with the smaller issues on that. So we appreciate you stepping up and serving. And is there any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing, seeing none, motion passes.
New business, item number 4, confirmation of reappointment of James Allen to the Economic Development Corporation, the Tax Increment Authority, Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for a 6-year term to expire February 21st, 2032.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Baumann, supported by Councilman Sullivan. Mayor?
Nope, just thank you, James. Appreciate you continuing to serve, and thank you, City Council, for your support.
Absolutely. Is there any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter?
No.
Any other discussion from the council? I will just say, again, as the mayor said, thank you for your support. We appreciate you stepping up and continuing to serve as we do with all the folks that work tirelessly and serve hard on our boards and commissions. Some of these ones, again, that don't get the limelight that a planning commission or that a Parks and Rec, advisory commission gets, or don't always get to do some of the fun stuff. We appreciate you doing the more monotonous work. So thank you very much for stepping up and doing that. And is there any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business, item number 5, confirmation of reappointment of Deanna Adams Stachow to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term to expire March 2nd, 2029.
There is a motion by Councilwoman Sampe, supported by Councilwoman Martin.
Is it okay if I do these 3 in a row?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Go for them all.
So,
Same board. Commission.
Deanna Stachow, Deborah Folks, Ruby Richards, I want to thank all 3 of you for continuing to serve on the Planning Commission. Certainly a very involved board that takes a lot of your time. So I do tune in and watch some of the meetings, and I do appreciate all your work and diligence and homework. And that goes for everybody who is reappointed tonight. Thank you all for serving on the boards and helping the city out in the way that you do. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And is there any discussion from the maker?
Thank you so much. Actually, Mayor, you actually took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to do the same thing. So Deanna, Deborah, and Ruby, who have been planning commissioners for quite some time, thank you so much for your commitment, and we appreciate it. I know the Planning Commission does have to make very sensitive decisions. So you guys do a lot of work and a lot of homework and ask a lot of great questions. I too check out the Planning Commission meetings online. So thank you so much for your service and all those that were appointed this evening. So we appreciate you, and we appreciate the commitment to the city.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anything from the supporter? No. Okay. Any other discussion from the council? I will say, Planning Commission is one of the, boards and commissions, I think, that gets a little more of the limelight and the attention, because it is one of the, most critically important ones, because it directly deals with everything that you see around you here in the city from a planning perspective and how our city's laid out and the businesses and types of businesses that we have. So certainly thank Deanna. I know her well, and I know her commitment to the city and the great questions that she asks of folks that come up and business owners and residential developers that come up looking to have development in our city. So her knowledge will be very much appreciated continuing on in the Planning Commission. Is there any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing and hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Please be recognized.
New business, item number 6, confirmation of reappointment of Deborah Folks to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term to expire February 18th, 2029.
Is there a motion?
Support.
So moved.
So moved, sorry.
Motion by Councilwoman Martin, supported by Councilwoman Baumann. Anything from the maker?
Deborah Folks has been around for a long time. She's very dedicated to the city, though we don't see much of her lately. And to see that she's still stepping up, I'm pleased to see that she's going to get reappointed.
Anything from the supporter? Any other discussion from the council? As Councilwoman Martin said, Deborah Folks has served for a long time on the Planning Commission. So we really appreciate her continued support of the city of Westland and her commitment and involvement to our community. So thank you, Deborah, for stepping up to serve again on the Planning Commission. Your insight, your knowledge, everything that you've brought, the years of wisdom from being on the Planning Commission will be much appreciated continuing on in service in the Planning Commission. So thank you very much for that. And is there any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes.
New business, item number 7, confirmation of reappointment of Ruby Richards to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term to expire March 2nd, 2029.
So moved. Support.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Rakowski, supported by Pro Tem Sampe. Any discussion from the maker?
I'm going to reserve my comments because I think the mayor had said it really well as my colleagues. All 3 women are fantastic, and I've appreciated and enjoyed their dedication to our city.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anything from the supporter? Okay, yep, I thought so. Anything else, any other discussion from the council? I, too, would like to thank Ms. Richards. You are involved in so many different things in the Community Planning Commission being one of them. Your insight, your knowledge, the great questions that you ask, the tough questions that you ask to make sure that we're getting the right development, smart development for our residents is always very much appreciated. I certainly enjoy watching the Planning Commission meetings, seeing the questions that you, Ms. Stachow, and Ms. Folks always ask, so we know we're appointing 3 very well-qualified and great individuals back to the Planning Commission. So thank you for your continued service on the Planning Commission as well. And is there any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes. Ms. Richards, please stand and be recognized. Hey, Deanna stood, so you have to as well. So blame her.
New business, item number 8, approval of request to reprogram home ARP program funds.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Rakowski, supported by Councilwoman Baumann. Is there any discussion from the maker?
Thank you, Council President. Through the chair to Director Campbell, we had a member of the audience pose a question about what exactly those funds are. If you wouldn't mind kind of expanding that knowledge for her, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you through the council president. Just as a reminder for everybody, the home ARP program is the additional home funds that the city received under the American Rescue Plan, and city council allocated those funds for a rental rehabilitation program in the Norwayne subdivision. The grant allows us to allocate up to 15% of the funds for administration. Initially, we allocated only 10%, and we find now we're very close to the end of administering the program, but the public service funds that were allocated are not needed as much as they are needed for administration, and program administration is everything from working with the rental owners, working with the Housing Commission to allocate housing vouchers, working with consultants to help us with the required plans and reports and items of that nature.
Director Campbell, thank you so much. Am I live?
Yeah, you're live.
Okay.
Yep, you're on.
Sorry, I can't hear that well. Thank you so much for that explanation. I hope that satisfies your inquiry. I think, if I may ask, when we use the word administration with a lot of our grant work, do those dollars tend to go to the departments in which are executing those grants? So for the department to be able to execute that grant and what those details are. So you were saying like meeting with contractors, meeting with the rental people. So does that help you?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so she asked what the administration is, so I'm hoping that, we can find an answer for her, just so that she has some clarity. But my understanding is that administration means it's the money used to administer that grant, which means it goes to generally the fund. So in this case, it'd be going to the Community Development Fund portion of the budget in order to use those grant dollars. So could be in salary, could be used in professional services, could be used in that way.
You said it's salaries.
Okay.
All set? Okay, anything from the supporter? Any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes. All right, we will now move on to public comment. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers should refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the orderly conduct of the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers, or members of the public do not promote civil discourse. Comments shall be directed to the chair and not to people in the audience. The chair shall call to order any person who is being disorderly by speaking when not having been recognized by the chair or is being disruptive to the proceedings. If any person, after being called to order, continues to be disorderly, creating a public 13 disturbance, the chair may order that person removed from the meeting immediately. Is there anyone on my right? Yes, Mr. Coughlin. This is public comment. Anything you want to talk about for your 3 minutes.
Hello. Tonight I'm finally getting around to doing what I've been promising to do for quite some time now, to talk about a guy named Bill Folkart. Who is Bill Folkart? I don't really know what to tell you about him. I'm afraid this is going to sound ridiculous, but here goes. Bill Folkart is the guy who saved my life and who is continuing to save my life every single day. I don't know anybody who would have gone out of their way the way Bill has gone out of his way and had the forbearance to make what I'm doing in life even possible. You got to be a special kind of person to do what Bill is doing for me. Let me back up. Bill's just a businessman. He owns Modern Classics on Newburgh Road, north of Palmer. He took over the business from his former business partner, a guy named Mike Alexander, at a time when it was very deeply in debt, to the point where its continued viability was in question. Through dedication and hard work every day, Bill has restored the business and made it a vibrant company. Restoring things, that's what Bill does. He takes broken down vintage cars and he rehabs them into operable pieces of art. He also rents storage space for RVs. He rents out RVs, and he and his veteran team of mechanics fix cars of all types. They're talented and they're honest. What's that worth? Knowing a place where you can take your vehicle for service with 100% confidence that you're not going to get cheated. I've been looking for a place like that my whole life. 3 minutes is way too short a time for me to sing Bill's praises. So let me tell you how Bill is saving my life. I rent 4 storage trailers from Bill at below market rates as part of a charity that itself will save lives. Over a year ago, I stopped being able to pay the rent. My indebtedness to Bill now stands at about $10,000 and growing. Is Bill hassling me about this? Amazingly, no. Why not? I guess it's because he believes in what I'm doing and knows that I'll eventually be good for the money. Bill has tons of taxes that he still has to pay all the time, and yet he carries me on his books. So Bill, when I start saving the lives that I will, it'll be all you. I don't know anybody like you, but I'm glad that I know you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Is there anyone on my left? And anyone on my right? And Mr. Warren, you got?
You got it right.
I had a feeling that I couldn't close it out just yet.
Okay. This is what they call Black History Month, but it's also American history and the role that the Afro-Americans played in America. The other night, I looked at this so-called Afro-American history thing on the Westland Youth Channel, which is sponsored by Pascal Easy, and the buck stops at the mayor's desk. The question is for us is that we as Afro-Americans have been here since 1619, a lot longer than most of your folks who came over on the boat and immigrated in. And that's a fact. The panel that was put there addressed none of these issues from 1619 up to now, not one. Ms. Maxwell was on the panel, Mr. Harvey, and there was a Rita Hampton. Mr. Harvey talked about his financial endeavors, where he's investing all around Westland, but no investments in Westland. That was his contribution to Afro-American history. Never mentioned anything about segregation, racism, or anything. That's probably by design. Ms. Maxwell talked about her personal endeavors, nothing about the Afro-American history. I don't know whether that's your fault or not, but the question is, and Ms. Hampton, she's supposed to be a librarian and a historian. The main thing that she was talking about, a pastor with shiny shoes. She talked about the Second Baptist Church as the only church that played in the Underground Railroad, because that was not the only church. Mariners Church down there on Jefferson. Any church that was close to that river was a coming out place for the Underground Railroad. There's a statue down there right at the foot of the river called Gateway to Freedom, with a pastor pointing over towards Amherst, Canada, which was freedom. There was no freedom in Michigan. Slaves still could be held in Michigan. So that's where the Afro-Americans went. They went to settle in Canada where they could be free because Canada had abolished slavery long before 1863. So I just want to point out is that these panels do nothing to further the education of Afro-American history. Nothing at this first one. Lame questions that people just talked about, basically about themselves. Nothing in relationship to the African-American history. And I just sat there in astonishment of how these things are being set
Thank you,
up.
Mr. Warren. Your time is up.
No, my time is never up. But I just want to point out this last thing as I moonwalk back to my seat.
Thank you, Mr. Warren.
I got the rest of this month. I'll be back.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Appreciate it. Heard. And is there anyone else in the audience? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move on to comments from the administration. Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, City Council. Thank you, everybody in attendance tonight. I begin tonight with some sad news. Our former judge, Gail McKnight, passed away this weekend. She served for 22 years as judge from 1985 to 2007. She served on the Westland City Council for 4 years from 1976 to 1980. And I'd like to, on behalf of the city, extend my sincere condolences to her family and her friends, and we thank her for her many years of service to the city of Westland. I'd also like to mention that we had a swearing-in ceremony today. We were joined by the police chief, both of our 18th District Court judges, our city council members, in swearing in police officer Jacob Kujawa. Also, city clerk swore him in. I didn't want to miss you. But he was sworn in prior to tonight's meeting. He's our newest police officer in the city of Westland. I want to congratulate him and thank him for his service and also for his service in the U.S. military. Winter's been pretty heavy duty this year. We are working really hard. Our DPS has been out daily, getting the roads cleaned up. I'm taking a lot of calls, a lot of feedback about neighborhood streets. We'll continue to work with our staff to do the best job possible. I do want to remind folks to remove your vehicles from the street during snow emergencies when we have more than 6 inches of snow accumulated. And, checking on your neighbors during extreme temperatures and try to shovel the sidewalks and, so children can walk to and from school. Warming centers are continue to remain open through the city as we've had this deep freeze. We'd like to thank Consumers Energy, who donated pallets of water and boxes of hand warmers to provide to our warming shelters. This donation was greatly needed and appreciated. And also, I want to remind folks to bring pets inside during cold weather like we're having. Last week, the Deputy Mayor and I attended the U.S. Conference of Mayors in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Conference of Mayors is the official nonpartisan organization for cities with populations of 30,000 or more. The conference is where mayors engage directly with the President and Congress on the most pressing issues facing cities today. The first winter meeting was held in 1933, and I just want to share that I found it to be very productive. We actually did side meetings with our U.S. Senators, Gary Peters and Alyssa Slotkin. We also met with staff from the White House in the White House complex and talked a lot about the issues facing the city. And we talked about issues, range of issues, but funding for cities, public safety, immigration, the economy, a lot of great information was shared, so I do appreciate that we were able to go. As mentioned, February is Black History Month. There's a 4-part mini-series that was mentioned. Yet We Succeed is the title. It highlights stories of resilience, strength, and impact. Episode 1 features Council President Pro Tem Lakeisha Maxwell and premieres February 1st on the Westland Cable Channel and the WLND YouTube channel. And just a little feedback, we've invited guests to speak, and we encourage them to say whatever they'd like to share. So I think there might be a little more of a historical angle in some of the upcoming programming. I'd like to thank Livonia Public Schools for the honor of being awarded the 2026 Distinguished Alumni Award. I don't know if I mentioned this at the last meeting, but I just want to thank them for the honor. It was a surprise. Our Parks and Recreation Department has been busy, as usual, with events for every age. I want to thank everybody who participated in bowling night. I know some of our council members were there, and we saw a lot of residents there. Looked like a good time. On Friday, February 6th, there's a daddy-daughter dance from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Grand Ballroom of City Hall. There'll be a live DJ, dancing, party, games, pizza, and refreshments, and more. Community game night is coming up Friday, February 20th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. in the Grand Ballroom also. It's a free event open to all Westland residents. Bring your favorite board game or choose from games that have been donated by the community. For more information on these events, please contact the Parks and Recreation Department at 734-722-7620. A couple other quick announcements. The City of Westland, in partnership with Norwayne Community Citizens Council and Wayne Metro Head Start, will host the 2026 Family Prom Night on Friday, February 13th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center. Dress up and rock your favorite sneakers, enjoy refreshments, and dance the night away. The Friends of the Library will be hosting a book sale from February 13th to February 15th at the William P. Foss Public Library. You can get information from them at 734-326-6123. City offices will be closed in observance of President's Day on Monday, February 16th. Trash pickup will not be affected that week. Westland Rotary Canine Corral Dog Park memberships expire on February 28th. To obtain or renew your membership, please visit the recreation portal on the city website, cityofwestland.com, or stop by City Hall for an application. And then just one last plug for Open Skate. It's still continuing to go on Fridays and Sundays through March 29th. The arena can be reached, the Mike Madonna Ice Arena can be reached at 734-729-4560. And I'm going to try to get back over there to do some skating before March. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you, City Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything from the city attorney's office?
I have an obligation here to, again, mention the Friends of the Westland Library book sale. You say, what is the obligation? Judge McNamara, if you came in, or he was here earlier, asked me to do this. Why did Judge McNamara ask me to do this? Because his wife Karen asked him to get somebody to do it. I'm smart enough not to tick off Karen, or for that matter, the judge. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Okay. We will begin council comments this evening, hearing from Councilwoman Emily Baumann.
Thank you. I just actually wanted to kind of repeat that this past couple of weeks, we had the family bowling, and that was a lot of fun. I love those things, and I'm excited that our Parks and Rec is doing more of these family events. In addition to the pinning ceremony tonight, going to the award ceremony for our fire department was also really neat to see all of our number of firefighters getting recognized for what they do every day, but what they do every day is very special. So I think I was really excited to see that event. I don't know if anyone else can make comments about that, but I just wanted to recognize that we have some really, really amazing police officers and firefighters that just, their job is just to do things that a lot of us I don't know that I could ever do. And so I just want to thank them and appreciate them very much. And that would be the end of my comments tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. We will now hear from Councilwoman Martin.
Nothing for me tonight, thank you.
Okay, nice and easy. We will now hear from Councilwoman Rakowski.
Thank you, Council President. There's nothing for me this evening.
Okay. We will now hear from Councilwoman Sampe.
I have a few things. Imagine that. Thank you for having that great event, Chief. I often know that you guys do a lot, and you are not always thanked as much as you should. So the chief just sent us out a report, January by the numbers, and it's pretty impressive. So there was 2,390, so 2,390 responses for January, which is incredible. So they are out there, they're active, the type of calls that they get. I mean, they had almost 1,100 EMS calls, which is incredible. So they're working really hard, I mean, all throughout the year, but I just want to thank our fire department for all that you do, and myself and Councilwoman Rakowski and Baumann were able to be there, and it's truly an honor just to work alongside you, and, you guys just do such a great job in addition to our fire department, our police department as well. You guys just work really hard, so thank you. Wanted to congratulate Jacob Kujawa. We did have that pinning ceremony, so it was great that all the council was able to be here for that. Wanted, in addition to Black History Month, which has been mentioned, I also want to remind people that it's American Heart Month. So definitely get your wellness checks. I say this every February. So my mom had a heart event, almost lost her several years, but she actually didn't discover it until she had her physical with her doctor. So I think it's just really important that we all stay on top of our health. And February's traditionally a slow month with activities, but make sure you get your physical and stay on top of it. Wanted to remind everyone that the Lighthouse Home Mission is still looking for donations, mainly food at this point. So it's really important for overnight warming centers to welcome people in, and the Lighthouse Home Mission right at Palmer and Vinoy is that warming center. So at 6:45, they usually start opening the doors for individuals for the night. They can warm up food, but they cannot cook food. So if you're interested in making extra pot of chili or soup or whatnot, they will be gladly accepting your donation. So I wanted to plug them because I know that Reverend Coakley does a great job over there in addition to all the volunteers, which again, they are volunteers. Lastly, I wanted to just remind people to do a save the date on your calendar. So in honor of April being Autism Acceptance Month, myself, and Mayor Coleman and an amazing planning team are working on our third annual Autism Community Day and Walk. It's going to be on Saturday, April 25th at 3 o'clock. So we actually are going to extend this event out. And I have an option for sponsorships, people that wish to donate to make this possible. Kyle Mulligan is helping me out and doing an amazing job. So thank you, Kyle, also for just rolling along with me, and we have some sponsorships coming in. But last year we had, I would say, about 200 people at our peak, and this year we hope to have more people come out. Our police and fire will be out there. We're going to have some games and bounce houses and some food and a sensory area. Last year was excellent with our sensory area, and then resource tables. So it's really important that these families feel like they're included, but also get the resources they need for treatment and programs. So it's going to be another amazing event. So just one more plug for April 25th. Save the date, please. We'd love to have you out there. This is going to be a free event, and we're going to welcome anyone that wants to bring their family out just to celebrate those that are differently able. So our next meeting is on the 17th. February at 7, and we invite everyone to come out. So until then, be safe and kind with one another, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sampe. We will now hear from Councilman Sullivan.
Okay, so everything I had in my notes has been covered. So the only thing I still wanted to bring up, though, was a happy belated birthday to our council president, Mike McDermott. He celebrated his birthday this past Friday. I will not say how old he is because it just makes me feel old.
Thank you, Councilman. I appreciate that. And we'll now hear from Pro Tem Maxwell.
And as Councilor Sullivan said, a lot was already said that I plan to say, but I will say I did attend the bowling, and I did tell my colleague that I would acknowledge credit when due. He threw the ball down quite a few times for me. I had a high score. I didn't win, so that was good. And I just want to also just say that the family prom is something that I've been going for the last 3 years, and it's really something fun. I always have my nieces, I make my siblings bring my niece and nephew. I'll be there, come out, it's free, and it's fun. That's all I have for tonight.
All right. Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Pro Tem. Few things from me tonight. I'm not going to belabor some of the stuff that's mentioned. You know, the family prom is always a great event, so please show up there. Congratulations to all of our award winners in the fire department. Sorry for not being able to make it. I couldn't get out of work with the 4 p.m. start time for it, but congratulations to all of our hardworking and dedicated firefighters on your much-deserved and well-earned awards. We certainly appreciate all that you do here in our community each and every day. I want to welcome Officer Jacob Kajoya here to the Westland Police Department. Jacob was joined by his family in the swearing-in ceremony that we had right here in the City Council chambers before the council meeting. So we wish him a long and healthy and safe career here in the Westland Police Department. And I want to thank Officer Kajoya for his service, too, for our country in the United States Army. So we welcome him here to the Westland Police Department and are thankful that he chose to come here in Westland out of the academy. As was mentioned by a few folks, the dog park renewal, very important. Some of you may see me up there with my dog Jetta. So renew your dog park membership so that my dog Jetta will have some friends to play with up there. I hope to see Biscuit and Money and all the other friends that she has back up there for the 2026 season. I will certainly be renewing mine to bring Jetta up there once the weather warms up just a little bit. A couple of other things here. I'm proud to announce that we are finally going to have this after several years of planning this, and I know my colleague, Councilwoman Bauman, will be very happy about this. We are going to be doing a first-of-its-kind visioning session. This is going to be coming up on Saturday, March 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., right here at Westland City Hall. So, what is a visioning session? This is going to be an atypical study session. It's going to be a free-form discussion from the council, from the mayor, from the clerk, and most of all, and most importantly, from all of you in the community. So at the visioning session, what we really envision this to be is an open dialogue to talk about any issues you want. If you want to talk about speed bumps, bring it up. If you want to talk about a pool or a rec center, bring it up. If you want to talk about any issue in your neighborhood or something that you think the city of Westland should have, like a sports dome or any number of things, it's going to be a free forum, open dialogue to discuss any issues that you want or any ideas that you have. We're going to give each council member the opportunity to present for about 10 minutes or so for their ideas. We're also going to have visioning boards all around the room where residents will be given sticky notes and they can go and write their ideas on a sticky note and then tack it up on a particular board of a particular topic. So there may be a board that says public safety, parks and recreation, roads and infrastructure, neighborhood services, you name it, we're going to have a board to cover that topic. Residents will be given sticky notes, the opportunity to write down their ideas and their vision for our community and then stick it up on the appropriate board. And then we're going to have additional public comment time for residents to speak about their ideas as well. We don't want to, as a council, restrain anyone other than, please refrain from personal attacks. We want this just to be an open dialogue. So again, bring any ideas that you have, any issues that you have, and we're going to be all ears. And again, that date is going to be Saturday, March 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here at Westland City Hall. And then once the visioning session is concluded, we'll do at some point down the line a follow-up kind of study session to recap the ideas that the council members, the mayor, clerk, and residents, you all in the community bring to this visioning session. There'll be some more information coming out about that on WLND and online on social media, so stay tuned for that. Another thing that's also going to be coming up in March, we don't have a date for this just yet, but I'm working on getting it. It is going to be a public health working group. So this is something that was kind of a brainchild of myself. Councilwoman Sampe wanted to do this as well. We're looking at avenues for how we can improve public health here in the Westland community to make sure that we have equitable public health services and resources across our community, and what we can do to help all of you as residents live healthier lifestyles and get access to questions, answers, and resources in the public health space. So we're going to be having a public health working group. So if you have a background in public health, or if you're just a resident interested in participating, please give me a call at 734-890-2146, or shoot me an email on my city email at mmcdermott@cityofwestland.com. We really want to have involvement from all of you as residents. In particular, if you have a background in public health, if you're a nurse or a doctor, or you work in a hospital, or you're a social worker, of some kind of involvement in public health, we would love you to participate. Or if you are someone who is a spouse to a person who's differently abled, or you have a special needs or differently abled child, please, participate in this public health working group, because we know that there are folks of different abilities all across our community, and we would love to have your involvement and input here as well. And once I have a date and a time for the first meeting of that working group, I will let you all know. And then just wanted to let the council know, because I did talk to the finance team today, they're going to get us some answers from the study session that we had the previous week, and those will be getting emailed out to us this week. And then, as was brought up by the mayor and Mr. Warren, this is, Black History Month, and I think now more than ever, it's important to acknowledge several things. Number one, Black History Month is American History Month, because Black history is American history. And it is critically important in today's day and age when we have so many folks out there, so many, unfortunately, elected officials, and entire states that are indeed trying to scrub Black history from the record, or trying to change the record on what Black history actually is. We have states like Oklahoma and Texas who want to erase slavery from the books, and they want to teach it, for example, in Texas, as involuntary relocation. We have a number of prominent African-American leaders who have had their records torn down, who have had their records spoken ill against, who have outright been erased from history. And we have entire school systems that are trying to not have to teach this stuff in schools under the guise of it being woke or it not being patriotic or being reflexively bad on America. Well, we can't talk about American history without talking about the bondage, the indentured servitude, the slavery that people faced, the oppression, the violence, the brutality, the discrimination that people faced. People who didn't have the right to vote, people who were denied access to certain jobs, people who were denied access to live in certain communities or certain parts of a community, people whose kids could not go to certain schools because of their ethnic origin or their racial identity. When we talk about Black history, we are talking about American history because it is something that all of us, all of our ancestors that came before us were affected by, or unfortunately in some cases, negatively, directly contributed towards. So when we talk about Black History Month, we're also talking about American History Month, and it is important to celebrate the entire record of Black history, and that includes acknowledging all the accomplishments of Black and African American people, of which there are many, to this country, to the scientific community, to the educational community, to the sports and athletic community, and to a number of different avenues and walks of life. And not only is it important to celebrate the good, it is important to acknowledge the bad and the moral stains that we have had in this nation, and unfortunately, of which there are many of that too. So when we celebrate Black History Month, know that we are celebrating a part of American history as well. And with that, if anybody needs anything from me, you can reach out to me on my email, on my Facebook page at Councilman Mike McDermott, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, on my phone number. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?